Having completed my analysis of all the Kenari scenes in the show, I'd like to offer a retelling of these scenes from Kassa's perspective with a new take that could explain everything. The show told us pretty early on that Kassa didn't fit on Kenari. His legs were too short for the terrain, he struggled to be accepted into the party, didn't move like a part of the group, and of course the visual language employed where he looked over the abandoned quarry. Now, imagine Kassa also knows he doesn't belong. It's not unreasonable to see him as suffering greatly from this. There's a German word, as there often is when English doesn't quite do it, Fernweh, which means far sickness. It's like wanderlust, but more powerful, a deep psychological need, an all-encompassing drive to be away, out there, and not here. We've seen it before in Star Wars, most obviously in Luke. This would explain that while the other kids look shocked when the ship crashes, Kassa is looking at it with a dreamlike look on his face. He's not scared, he's imagining. He's only about 10 here. Whatever disaster happened here happened at least a few years ago, let's say when he was 4 or 5. He probably knows the concept of spaceships, giant metal birds that fly, but not how to make them work. To me, his faraway expression here is him thinking, if I can get on that, I can get away. When the ship crashes with an explosion, the other kids scream, but he's so lost in his thoughts he doesn't even blink. That's why this is the first expedition he's ever tried to join, which he does despite knowing he's not really ready. You might dispute that he wouldn't leave his sister, maybe he thinks she'll be safer here, maybe he's planning to come back for her one day, but also, that's exactly the sort of thing a 10-year-old boy would do. It wouldn't make him bad, it would just make him 10. He does walk straight past her when the party leaves, remember, and only turns when she calls for him. And what about Luke? How old's he? 18? He should know better, but he would have left his poor old aunt and uncle to work themselves to the bone on that moisture farm if they hadn't been removed from the picture. Now, I know he's sedated, but at the end here, doesn't he look happy to you once he realizes he's being taken away? I've watched again for signs of these romantic feelings he has for this girl, and they're just not there. He seems to respect her ability to lead and appreciates that she nodded him in. I also think the same about Jin and Cassian. I don't think there's any romantic feelings there either, but we will come back to that one day. People point at how upset he looks when she dies. Well, yeah, if I saw a 16-year-old friend gunned down when I was 10, I would have reacted too. But he doesn't react that much. To point at his reaction of a sign of special feelings doesn't make sense considering the reaction of the other kids who seem to be far more distressed, apart from that one girl who couldn't seem to stop smiling, which I'm assuming is an acting problem and not part of the story. He seems to be the one person who doesn't take part in the retaliatory attack against the officer, and then he calms himself down quite quickly after the initial shock. He goes to follow the group for one step, but remembers why he's here and refocuses on his task, clenching his fist in determination as he turns back towards his quarry, the crashed ship. Him entering through its mouth and his interactions with the ship's interior support the idea that he views this thing as almost a living creature. When he gets to the operations room, he soon realizes his plan is not going to work out. This is the most confusing space he's ever been in. This stuff is either dead or displaying reams of alien information he can't comprehend. He didn't think this through, because he's 10, and now he realizes that he can't make the metal bird fly after all. That's when he sees his reflection. The most common explanation that I've seen for Kassa attacking his reflection is one that simply can't be true, the idea that he's never seen it before. I don't think this is possible. The kids lived next to a beautiful lake which in the right lighting and weather would have been reflective, and there's no way none of the things they've salvaged from their former lives have surfaces reflective enough to see themselves. There would have been plenty of pocket mirrors around in their previous lives, and those are the kind of things you salvage. See how it looks like he's in a cage? Restricted, trapped, cursed to live this boring life forever? That is why he attacks his reflection, a cruel reminder that he's still trapped down here when he should be flying up there.